So we're back in Arms Trader Tycoon Tanks. Unfortunately, our previous game has been lost. There was a major update, or at least an update which caused the save games to be not compatible anymore. Unfortunately, there was no log to tell us what was changed. One of the things I've seen which was changed is we can now kink out the flaws of the designs by throwing money at the problem. This was a feature which was there in the beginning of the game, or relatively early in the game, which was then later removed, and you could do nothing about the design flaws. And now it has been reintroduced. So I played a little bit off screen to bring it back to roughly where we were, maybe a little bit further even. I can't recall how far we were, as I was quite surprised and ambushed by the update, but it is what it is. So to bring you up to speed, obviously we do not have access to the same tanks because I'm not force buying them, so to speak, but I wait till they're available as trophy tanks. And as you can see, we have a mixed bag, let's put it that way, because we found the CA-15 Schneider, which is a First World War design. I still designed two versions of it just for shits and giggles and to keep my engineers busy. We have the medium T1, an interwar American tank. We developed the Matilda, a so-called infantry tank. It's not a bad tank. It's not a bad tank per se. It's actually quite a good tank, but because we already had the T-34 as a trophy tank, which is a better design overall, we didn't sell them, which is a little bit unfortunate, but that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. Because I personally love the Matilda in World of Tanks and the likes, because it's a very sturdy design. It also, I must say, my version doesn't look very good because it uses the T-34's track, which is, is longer than the hull, and this looks odd. We also have recently acquired the Panzerkampfwagen 4 blueprints with the long barreled 75 millimeter Kampfwagen Kanone. Well, they call it 7.5 centimeters, but potato. Also, we could reinvent the MG34, which is better than our BESA MG for the same purpose. We put in the German turrets, even though now here it's what's funny. We have a turret which per se on its own is better than this Medium Universal Ausführung 136. It only, in air quotation marks, has attribute sum of 908 points. You can see the medium from the Americans has more, but uses more crew and is slightly heavier. And we have a British one which is over 1,000 as well. Yes, this one, the 2000, which is lighter, much lighter, uses the same amount of crew and is better. The problem is this one cannot fit the 75mm cannon or 7.5 centimeter cannon. It can only fit I think up to 6-pounder guns, which is not bad, but it's not a 75mm cannon. That's what it is. Yeah, we did not fit the original German engine, which I think is the HL120 TRM, because the AEG was better. We have two AEGs. I think these are bus engines from the double-decker buses. Why is it not here? Oh, here it is. So it's slightly better. Sorry for the back and forth. Slightly better. Weighs about this. No, weighs 1,500 kilos less and uses less crew. So yeah, and for the intents and purpose for weight limitations, it didn't really matter because both would have been suitable, or maybe even the AEG was better. I can't recall, to be frank. So we used all the German components with the exception of the engine. We fitted an English engine instead. And this is now halfway through developed, so we will see the design shortly. Oh, sorry, I meant to showcase the others. The T-34, as I said, and we have the medium M3 Lee, which we fitted with a British engine. Is that the original one? No, that's also British. I think that's the chains of the Matilda. I think it's also a Matilda turret. Yeah. We fitted the T-34's main gun into the side because the original 75mm was inferior. Yeah. No, it would be superior. Why did I not fit that one? Oh wait, I did probably. So this is the first version, and here we have a 6-pounder, 57mm, 43 caliber gun, and a Vickers, which at the time was one of the better MGs. I mean, it's still a good MG because it only needs one crew and has still 350 attributes, but the Besa has 408 and the MG34 has even better, 417, and also needs one crew. The weight, normally with the MGs, the weight is insignificant unless you have a 2-ton Panzer or something like that where you need to watch every single kilogram. But 9.5 out of 10 cases, the weight does not really matter. It's more about how many crew do you need to serve it and how good is it. And which one can you fit, of course. So let's go back to designs and look at the version 2, because now I'm curious. Yeah, then I fitted the original 75mm cannon of the M3 into the hull in the second version. That's what it was. I mean, the difference is not much. It's just lighter and a little bit of a better score. That's what it is. But still the same 6-pounder gun, the Vickers MG, what have you. And we have the Mittlere Traktor, which was an interwar German design with multi-turrets. Yeah, nothing to write home about really. I was never sold a single one of them. I fitted it then later on with the T-34 turret and gun, I think. Yeah. But British MGs, German tracks, Russian engine. So that's that. I sold pretty few of them. No, not of these. Sorry, from the T-34 I think it's one of our most sold tanks. But the M3 Lee is catching up. But I think the most sold is still the Tetrarch, or it's close. Almost 500 units, yeah. But only to the British, as it seems. No, that can't be. I thought I sold to the Portuguese as well. Huh. Oh, maybe I'm mistaken. I think the T-34 we sold to several countries. The M3 we sold to 3 countries so far. Yeah, to 2 countries. So, yeah, that's what it is. Let's go back. And advance time. We're in the middle of a contract. Do I have now enough rubber to build more leaves? I do not. I do not have any rubber. Oh yeah, it's on its way. Yes, of course. I ordered rubber and it should be here in 2 days. And it's already delayed, so it will be here in 2 days. Yes, here we go. So 105, so I want to build 30. Oh, now I'm missing iron. Oh, the irony, because I sold the iron in order to be able to order rubber, so... Well... I should get some new deliveries soonish, in a week's time. Until then, we keep them occupied. So the Portuguese suddenly don't like me anymore. But the Russians do. Okay. Which means I can get the Russian administrator, I believe. Because 3 of my administrators are facing retirement. So I'm going to get Koshkin and Vladimir Shikonin. I will figure out where to place them later on. It's always good to have them. If it's only to deny their services to our competitors. I don't know whether they really do that, but you know. For my immersion, they do. As you can see, we already have almost 400 contracts issued by governments. I'm not going to take any if I struggle to already fulfill the one we have. which goes completely against my grain, but look, we have 17 potential customers and we just can't. It's impossible. So we just have to swallow the bitter pill and have others have a share of the cake. What will we have? Improved heavy support. Okay, we can. Mikhail Koshkin has arrived, and Vladimir Shikonin as well. So let's see where we put them to work, shall we? Now Shikonin is either production or design. So he will reduce the man-hour costs and we can have more workers per line. This sounds incredible. Reduction of tank process time, workplace ergonomics. Oh, the breakthrough is nice as well. This one I'm really split. I probably get him to production, and this one. Okay, I put Koshkin into research and Shikonin into production. Okay. Koshkin into research. Shikonin into production. Which means I can hire now more workers. It should reduce the time it takes for us to build the tanks significantly. So we have now the medium Panzerkampfwagen 4. Version 1 is now designed. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to the design tab. Going to look for the Panzer 4. Here he is. And they found design flaws. They always find design flaws, regardless how careful you are. Here it seems to be mainly crew performance related. So we go to amend. It cost us 60k to remove the blocked parts, internal obstructions, the blocked ports. And now our tank is without flaws and a little better. What I'm going to do now is take her for a spin. We go to test drive. Take the Panzerkampfwagen 4. The acceleration is not mind-boggling. Damaged the barrel. Handling is a little bit wonky. Steering is not very responsive from my point of view. Could do with some power steering. Acceleration was a little bit meh. Oh man. Oh wait. At least I got that. But now. Oh, that's embarrassing. I can't get out of here. I think they should give you the option to. Man, that's embarrassing. Now I need to wait 10 minutes. You must be kidding. Oh, wait. Doesn't affect the brake. Spin around. Can I spin myself? Ooh, almost. Come on. I'm not sure people from Rheinmetall did envision that when they designed the tank or when looking in the wrong direction. That's why. Ah, that was okay. Not the best driving from my side, I admit. So I'm switching to the 75mm pack. Kampfwagen Panel. Look at this poor Third World War I. That's a fucking fast reload. I free-handed arms, which do not reload that quick. So that's that. Let's see. I still have some Churchill in the pipeline. Problem is I do not have an engine which is capable of propelling the bloody thing because it's too heavy. It weighs almost 33,000 or 33 tons, but the engine can only do 32,400. The problem is I have some engines which might be able to do better, but I have not really them because they're so old we never produced, and because I started at in era 3 already. I do not have a working I do not have a working example or sample of these engines. Can I see? Yes, I can. So the Puma, for example, here has a limit of 7.5 tons, right? So the Daimler i6 has 9.5. The Phantom i6 has 9. The Meadows H12 has 10. Taylor 13.5. This one 8.5. 23.5. The Wolseley 10.5. Lancaster 12. Armstrong 14.5. 25. 14.5. 26. 24. 20. See, this is closer, 33. So, and Knight 27.5. Ricardo 29. 32. 31.5. 32.5. 28. Liberty. So I do have a Liberty, but I can't fit it into. Okay, let's see whether we can fit the Armstrong V12 or the Liberty into the hull. I mean, I could produce the tank as it is. It would just not be as good as I wish it was. So I can fit the Armstrong. Which should work fine, but I can't fit the Liberty. Yeah, so I need to develop the Armstrong. Okay. Engine. Armstrong. Yes. So now, the moment this is 3.2 tons, needs 4 crew. So these alloy pad brakes, they bring 10-15. This one is lighter and brings 18. Alright, so I take this one for the moment. This one is even better. Weighs a little bit more though. This is 15, 24, 20, so 20. This one is 1623. Okay, so we'll put this one. Strengthened flywheel, 48 kilograms. And brings me 13. 13. This is also 13, but weighs more, so we don't take that. This one has a minus by repair, so this I'm not even looking at. 15, 19, 16. So this one's better, a little bit heavier though. This is 13, 18, 15. This is 16, so this stays in the run. 16, this is 17. Yes. And this one is weaker, right? This is 13, 18, 15. Okay, so carburetor. So this one is 13. This is 14, and it's lighter, so we take this one. $14. This is 14, 16. So we take this one, which is even lighter. So this is 14, 19, 16. 16, no. 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 Nope. Okay. Cooling system. This is 360 kilograms. This is 14. This is 16. And lighter. $16. This is also 16, but heavier. And this one is also 16, but even heavier. So that's that. Synchronized gearbox. Okay. This is 14. Good repairability. Nice. And this one means it needs one less screw. So this is 14. This would be 11, and even less screw. Repairability would be similar, but I think we'll leave it at well. Oh, this one is better, but weighs more. But you can save one crew, basically. This would be 25. It's even heavier. I think we take this one. Okay. Oh, Jesus. It needs 66 days until it's finished. Oh, Lord. Okay, well. least I have something to do. Japan. Do not have any relationships with Japan, but good to know. We sent the first batch of our M3s to Greece. Sent them on their merry way and advance time. Panzerfaust already, nice. Yeah, I'm not even looking at the contracts because I can't take them anymore anyway, so I would just be pissed that I can't take them. So, you know, just advancing time. Okay, so they finished one batch. So let's see whether we can now build the balance. So we need 75. We have 13 stock, which means we need 62. Here is one in production, means 61, and here is another 9, makes it 52. So I take 26. Can I do 52? We can. So we take 26 with that one. And wait, this one is in 3 days, and then we give them the other 26. We send another batch. We have any reverse engineering we can still do? No, we cannot. We have discovered everything we paid for. So here are all the other tank designs that we know are in existence. For example, Daimler has an Odin, which would give us one new component. However, this is a World War I design, and the Panhard engine is also a World War I design. The Balder Ausführung B would have the Kampfwagen Kanone 3775 L24, which means is the anti-tank gun or the tank gun 37, which is the year of introduction into service. 75 is the caliber in millimeters, so it's a 7.5 centimeter gun. L24 means it has 24 caliber barrel length. So in case you're not familiar with that, 24 caliber length means the barrel is equally as long as 24 times the caliber of the gun. So it can be that an L48 is shorter than an L24 if the caliber of the guns are different. For example, if you have a 3.7 caliber gun and it's L48, it's slightly shorter than the 75 with L24, because 75 times 24 is more than 37 times 48. So I know it sounds complicated. I know exactly what I want to say, but I don't know whether I was able to bring it across. Those would be relatively cheap to buy because this is a World War I design, this is an interwar design. If we go to Morozov, it gets more expensive, even though the T-28 is also an interwar design. It's less antique, apparently. And the Zorya, that one I have not seen before. It's probably T-26 from the looks of it. Société Frère, they're all relatively. No, this is a World War I design. So I don't. Oh, maybe because I have. No, that doesn't make sense either. Okay, so I don't know what these prices are based on. I mean, can't easily afford these two, but unless they're trophy tanks, I'm not going to take them because they're both designs are outdated, and there's only so much gold you can put on a turret. So Rheinmetall, the Forsety is a decent one. The others are outdated, in my point of view. They're World War I designs. Rock Island, they're interwar designs. They're okay, I suppose. FCM, this is a World War II design. These are World War I designs. And the Schneider one we already bought. They're World War I turrets. So I just bought them for the sake of it. Oh yeah, so this one needs now as well 26. Bob's your uncle. Yeah, we have delivery delays as I expected. We need another 40 days for the engine. And we lost 205 people due to accidents. Ouch. In 2 weeks we can get new employees. And we want to put in research. We just had this one, I think. Methinks. Let's get the turret, right? I think it's the next cheapest one. It is. So let's get this turret then. What did we get? Oh, the hull of the Churchill 2, I think. Right? Yeah, Mark II Churchill. Minotaur, yeah. I think the Leshy is better. Weighs 2.3 tons less. Okay, will ultimately not carry as much weight, but we're not getting to 52 tons because we don't have a fucking engine to carry it. 4 tons? Yeah, that should be sufficient for crew and turrets. Is that the gun in the hull? Six-pounder Mark II. No, that's the one in the turret. Okay, can fit the 6-pounder in turret. That's okay-ish. Then we're going to install the German MG. Another German MG. Oh, the second. Okay, now I get it. They don't have a hull-mounted gun anymore in the second version of the Churchill. Now I get it. Okay, cool. Does that mean we want another turret? Where's the German one for the Panzer IV? I think that's it. So now we can also fit a 75mm cannon, can't we? I know it's an atrocity to put. Oh, it's too heavy now. Oh fuck, the turret is of course heavier. So it weighs 2,400 kilograms. Okay, let's see, do we have a... This is even heavier. And the gun weighs something of course as well. So maybe... I think we go back to our initial plan and put this flipping 6-pounder gun in it, which is still quite decent. So let's see what crew we need. We need half a driver. Okay. Commander, mechanic, and then one gunner, one loader. Yeah, that looks good to me. Oh. So then we put, no, this one are the bad ones. We put the high explosive, high velocity. We give the armor piercing. Ah, shit. best. So here we have the boat-tailed and the explosive rounds. Then diesel fuel is the best that we have available at the moment, and high resistance oil. We paint the thingy hole in British green and call it good. Oh yeah, that's the problem, right? The engine is not ready yet. Well, how much does this engine here weigh? How much will the other one weigh? Yes. Okay, this one has the chance of becoming a good one. Question is, should we design it at all? Because by the time the engine is fixed and we can swap out the engine, is it obsolete? Let's do it anyway. I mean, it doesn't cost us extra. The engineers are snoozing anyway, so might as well put them to work. BL 7.2 inch. 7.2 inch, that's massive, isn't it? That's 203-ish? No, 7.2 inch. Yeah, it's about 200mm gun. That's humongous. Sorry, I need to take care of the dog quickly. Making it quick. Alright, so I'm back. Sorry for the interruption. Otherwise I would have had a mess at hand, so... Wait, did we... Oh, yeah, we need the engine. Ugh, so stupid. So who's pissed at me? Oh, no. No, Portugal likes us more now. Again. Our oldest ally. Okay, tanks have been delivered. Greece wants more tanks. Everybody wants more tanks. Probably should have focused on a couple of nations, but then you never know in advance what kind of tanks they want, and if you only have nations you can't fulfill their requirements for the tanks, that blows. Oh, we need to hire more engineers. Not engineers, sorry. Welders. Workers. I could have typed in stupid. So I have 23 in stock, 59 I need. That means 36 need to be built, which are what is left of these contracts, so hopefully the time will be sufficient. It will be a close call, but we can take 30 days longer. It's not ideal and I don't like doing it, but you know, if push comes to shove, we can do it. Geez, the amount of contracts coming in, it's mind-boggling. Spain has the 400th contract. Yep, we have now the Armstrong ready. So we do the Churchill 1 with the Armstrong. And now the mobility looks better. Or does it? Yeah, I guess it's not too much over the limit of the engine, so that didn't matter. Okay, if I knew that, could have done that a long time ago. Well, would have, could have, should have, didn't. So, eat shit. So, this one. Don't tell me here. Well, it's a wash. Which one is better? This heavy church is 330-10. Because he has two guns, but he looks redonkulous. Alright. Never mind, carry on. Okay, John Corden has retired, so let's see. Whether we need to replace him. Was he an administrator? Maybe. Still tuning, or still... Oh, maybe he was... He's still here, isn't he? What are they talking about? He's in engineering and this one is in the production hall. Okay. Which reminds me... Oh no, we did hire new people. Yeah. Oh, we have some tanks to ship. Okay, let's see what new contracts we have. That's the Germans. They want the multi-purpose tank, which is a Panzer IV. 1,000. Minus 1,000. Okay. 48. And still the minus 1,000. Minus 2,000. Okay. Yeah, I think the others we don't need to look at. So, Panzerkampfwagen 4 it is. Let's see, Rheinmetall. So, how much do we want to take from the Germans? 93 per unit, and it costs us 22 to build. Well, that sounds like a pretty sound deal to me. How many did we promise them? 63, so I built 21. Can I do 63? Oh. But I can't because I have not enough. Okay. I still give him 21. The Germans want our copies of their tanks, basically, which is ironic. So another 21 order. Yeah. Can we already hire more? We cannot. So how many of these can we now build? 12. Going to buy from Africa. What do we need? Iron. Oh, and we have 28. No. 28. Okay. I mean, we should get some iron soonish, but, you know, of course it's delayed because we had some bottlenecks in the recent past. I'd rather not take chances, so. Oh, did I not send them? Oh, I'm such a moron. We should still be fine. Just could have used the money earlier, but you know, it is what it is, I suppose. So who's missing? They are missing. Good. And of course we have a delay, because why wouldn't we? So we have now the Churchill Mark II. finished. Oh yeah, they have found 14 flaws. So now it's 3231. Blocked path, crammed environment, limited space, internal obstructions, blocked ports, extra power loss because we're running at the mass limit, loose rollers, inadequate insulation, track instability, loose tracks, inadequate insulation, crammed environment, insufficient access. Cost us £267,000. Well, we have now 50 points better tank after we invested that. Which may not sound like much, and it probably is not, but it still can tip the scales in our... That's a joke. We have an inherent chance every time to finish something within 1 day. And this design was almost finished anyway, but now RNG has said, oh, we're early. No, we are not. So the Mark I Churchill has already a higher score than the Churchill Mark II because of the 75mm gun. So faces similar problems like his sequel, prequel, however you want to see it. So we got an improvement of 37 points. Okay. Which side do we have tanks? I think with the Russians, don't we? No, with the Chinese actually. We sold the Chinese T-34. But it was a draw between the Russians and us. You know, we had a huge numerical advantage. Oh, but I have only a 2-pounder gun and they have the 76mm. Yes, okay. Makes sense. Will we manage now? So we need a total of 25. We have 4 in stock and 5 and 7, so 12. So we need another 9. So should we look at economical infantry tank? Who do I need to curry favor with? It's the Germans. So rather small. I think we should be able to do that. $44, $49. This one, mobility is always the most expensive one. In my experience. So the Germans want the Panzerkampfwagen 4. Surprise, surprise. I made an offer they can't refuse. Now the Austro-Hungarians want... Oh, jeez. I would have needed to curry favor with them. Oh well. High visibility and munitions. So cheapest here is 62. 49, 43. Okay, and mobility is more expensive, so we go for the compact machine gun, right? Yeah. So we have now 17, and we need how many of them? Oh yeah, we have another contract. Right, so 45 in total, which we can do, so we give them 15 for the next batch. How many more do we need for the first contract though? 8. Okay. Italy, the German Empire. Well, Daniel Fletcher. Okay. Okay, good. Let's go to the administrators. Daniel Fletcher. He's in research and engineering. Research. Oh, re-engineering. Oh, reverse engineer. Can use more engineers per line and breakthrough. Yeah, well, I think we put them in engineering as soon as we can. And continue. What is it? Welded heavy turret, okay. Yeah. So which is good because Rockby is about to retire. So we make use of the doubles here. So we have discovered the welded turret. What's next? 62, 49, 54, so we go for 49 composite rounds. So APCB are armor piercing ballistic cap, but I don't know what the C stands for. Okay, let's check Dr. Google quickly. APCBC. Armor piercing capped, ballistic capped. Oh, that's why it didn't make sense, because I'm not a big fan of repeating words. So what is it? APCBC. Armor piercing capped ballistic cap. Panzerberecht mit KP und ballistischer Haube. Okay. So this is a deformable cap. This is the armor piercing steel penetrator, they call it. 3 is a charge. This is the fuse. And this one are the rings which grab the rifling of the gun. Of course, this is outdated because nowadays, as far as I know, all tank guns are smooth bores. They don't have rifling anymore because most of them are APFSDS, which is armor piercing. APFSDS. Yeah, armor piercing, fin stabilized, discarding sabot, something like this. You know, these arrows, basically. After all these centuries, we're back to arrows. All right, so let's move on. Did we? Yes, we did get the order to. Let's now see the turret we just invented or developed. Which one is that? The support? No, that's not the one. So many turrets. Close support, is it that one? Looks like it. But, you know, where do we see? Oh, yes, yes. Components compatibility. So this is the close support Mark II 43. So we have this one. And this is the guns you can install with him. So we can install 75mm guns. Even 17 and 25 pounders. Oh Lord. Yeah, we can use the German gun, for example. Is this one better? So this is 989. I think this is better than the German one, isn't it? It is. But it uses more crew. Weighs about the same, so that's not the problem. All right. Yeah, I wait about more 10 days. Or I take this one, because it's Panzerforce anyway. New trophy. Essus Model 3. See, the Essus Model 3 would normally cost 1.27 millions. Now it's a tenth. Alright. Well, let's get our engineers to work. Yeah, it's a World War I design. So, shouldn't expect any market for that, but still. Kind of something of a completionist, so, you know. You never know if suddenly somebody needs a 3-ton tank or something like that. So now, how many of them do we need? 18. Okay, we'll take 18. We have not enough rubber again. Okay, still giving him 18. I think that rolls it already, right? Yeah. Okay, let's design one. Pegasus. Ah, that's better. Oh, this one is even better. Yeah, because we don't need so much potential carry weight. This one needs one. This one needs one as well, but we don't have a working version of that. This one is heavier. Which does not matter, but we can only install an NG. Well, then let's make two, because why shouldn't we? So we need half a driver and half a mechanic. That's good. Then, yeah. Then this loader. Nice. Okay. Expendables. Explosive rounds is 353. 358. 355. High visibility traces. Take diesel fuel. High resistance oil. Paint the whole thing in French colors. Have it designed in 16 days. And then we make another one. The same engine, the same tracks, but this time we take this turret, which gives us the option to yes, baby. Good. True. So again, driver mechanic. Nice. Then we need Gunner loader. Oh, that doesn't work, huh? Let's do the commander loader, and then we have a full-time gunner. Okay. Three, 2, 9. Yeah. Diesel. So we have now a French tank with a French engine with a British track, French turret, and a German cannon. Paint the whole thing green. Let's have our engineers fun with that. Oh, 18 again. And continue. So we have now the Luta, which we do not need anymore. Well, just carry on. I mean, as shitty as the FT-17 looks, and I'm sure this is not necessarily news to you, but you know, while we're at it, this was the first tank which had this modern feature to have a turret, a fully 360 rotating turret. All the other tanks before had either fixed installed guns, like for example the A7V, the German one, or had the guns mounted in sponsons, right, like the Mark 1s of the British. This was the first one who had a fully rotating turret. Having said that, the turret was neither electric nor hydraulic. There was a widget which grabbed the shoulders of the commander, who was at the same time the gunner and loader, and what he did is, when he wanted to rotate the turret, is he needed to push it with his shoulder. So while it was the first one, or at least the first mass-produced one, who grasped the concept of, hey, a fully rotated turret is probably a good idea, which it was. Well, I mean, point in case, tanks to this day, more than 100 years later, still have rotating turrets. Or most of them have. It was pretty strenuous on the commander, because he had to keep in touch with HQ. He did have to take leadership functions. He acted as the gunner and loader of a 37mm short-barreled gun, and it was basically a two-man tank. There was only the driver dash mechanic sitting in the same tank as him. But it showed where future tanks will go. So it was kind of a pioneer, and they stayed in or versions of it, or updated versions of it, stayed in service during World War II. The Germans used them in Paris as part of the occupation force to police France, basically. So, yeah. Of course, they were not frontline tanks anymore. Of course, they weren't. I mean, no. But they still served in the armed forces, even though it was more in a background function, if you will. Okay, so we did that as well. So how many of these Panzer IV can we now produce? 12. Yeah, and until then we should have a new batch of rubber. Okay. I let it slide. We should be fine with the time. So 24 for, who was it? Germans. Ah, yeah, exactly. We have 2 consecutive German orders. And of course it's delayed, because why shouldn't it be? M3, E3 leave. So let's see what they look like. A new component, a new engine. Okay, that might be interesting. So one of our FT-17s is finished, or well, the design is, and we have found 2 flaws with the crew limit, even though we have 3 crew spaces and we only use 2. So still gives us 1452. Well, I don't know. Ah, because the crew, yeah, because we need 3 crew for the other one, yeah. Oh, they found 7 things, all to do with the limited space available in the tank. And it's worse. Well, so be it then. Is there a new administrator available, which we have? Oh yeah, wait, how many tanks? 52. Now let's send the ones we have. Now the demand has a little bit slowed down because we have no only single-digit contracts open or available. This is one which we might get into multi-purpose tank. That's Panzer Force again. Panzer 4, 11, -1 is 10, -4 is 6, so we need 6 more of those to fulfill the contract. I don't like the Churchill. And now the M3 Lee looks bad as well. Oh, look, the Churchill would be good. It's just... Yeah, that's the one you want. It's your... Still better than the original. 104. Can I do that? I will just try. Whoops. You know what? I sell some of the glass. Maybe 50. So sell glass 50. Still doesn't help much, does it? No. Is that medium? High carbon steel. Let's take 30 of the medium as well. So now the rest is rubber, which we get from Middle East. 23. Yeah. Ah, that was not the button I meant to click. I meant to click here. How many? 105, right? 104. Yeah, that means 35. If we can, which we can't, let's do the 90. So, oh, 9, okay. Need 29. And of course, the resources are delayed. soon have some new components coming up. One contract fulfilled. Iron. Let's get 60. Let's send the first batch of tanks. So that's that. So I know I'm not very communicative, so let's add some other trivia on top of my head. The Panzer IV, as we see it now here in the game, of course. This was not the initial version of the tank. Initially, the German Oberkommando der Wehrmacht, or whoever was behind the allocation of tasks. So the Germans had, at the outbreak of World War II, 4 main tanks in production. Very creatively, they were called Panzer I, II, III, and IV. Panzer I was more of a tankette than a tank. It was only armed with twin 7.92 MGs. It had a fixed turret, i.e. one which could not turn, and it at best was a reconnaissance tank at the outbreak of World War II. Panzer II was some kind of upgrade, but it only had a 20mm autocannon as armament. The armor was not good. Now, the Panzer III was the dedicated tank killer. It had a high velocity 5mm or 5cm anti-tank gun, long barreled. And the Panzer IV was meant to be an infantry support vehicle, i.e. its gun was meant to get rid of fortifications, MG nests, bunkers, more, or use as basically a gigantic shotgun against infantry with high explosive ammunition. And it had a short barreled 75mm gun. It's ironic that Panzer III and IV over the course of the war kind of changed roles. The Panzer III was quickly outclassed by the likes of T-34s and so on, and switched to a supporting role, or the chassis was used as either anti-tank guns, so self-propelled guns basically, either for the anti-tank role or as infantry support, or what we nowadays call mechanized artillery. And the Panzer IV was equipped with, as we can see here, with the long-barreled 75mm Kampfwagenkanone, which was an anti-tank gun, and therefore switched to the tank killer role. Also, there were, if I'm not mistaken, there were also anti-tank guns based on the chassis of the Panzer IV, where they just cut off the turret. Well, I mean, just cut off the turret. I mean, I'm sure it was more complicated than that, but from the looks of it, they cut off the turret and mounted the gun in a casemate configuration, i.e. in the hull of the tank. So, yeah. Then there were further numeric Panzers. There was the Panzer V, which is more commonly known as the Panther, which was the reply of the German Wehrmacht to the T-34, which outclassed every tank they had in service to date. Once they met them, they were quite surprised, and not positively, to find such a capable tank within the Soviet Union's armed forces. So they kind of panicked and tried to develop a tank which could match or better overmatch the T-34. So they developed the Panzer V, which was more commonly known as the Panther. Then there was the Panzer VI, which is more commonly known as the Tiger, who had its debut in the North African theater and kind of was a bad surprise for the Allied forces, who had nothing to fight the Tiger. But the Tiger already there showed its mechanical problems with, they lost more tanks to mechanical problems than to enemy fire, because I think the drivetrain was not very reliable, and its engine came to its limits, because it was the same engine, if I'm not mistaken, that was built into the Panther, but with some 10 tons more weight to it. And the final one that I'm aware of, which was really produced in some considerable numbers, was the Panzer VII, more commonly known as the King Tiger. I mean, latest there, it was obvious that the Maybach engine could not cope with the close to 70 tons of steel that the King Tiger brought into the fight. I mean, purely from armament and armor, the King Tiger was, maybe with the exception of the IS tanks of the Soviet Union, a real tough tank to kill by other tanks. The problem was, I mean, it had the excellent 8.8 centimeter anti-tank gun, or actually it was an anti-aircraft gun, but the Germans quickly noticed that it's as good in killing tanks as it was in killing aircraft, and built it into into the King Tiger. We could destroy any Allied tank with the exception of maybe the IS tanks at the distance of 1,000 meters, and could withstand the fire of them except of close range or in the side or the back from any of the Allied forces. I mean, it was such a good gun and such heavy armored, but they lost a lot of tanks because the drivetrain again was the problem. In the ones who fought in the USSR on the Eastern Front, they had the problems that their intricate tracks or suspension system of the tracks, which made for very good cross-country capabilities, was stuck with mud, and they had overlapping wheels and 3 layers of them. So if one of the wheels broke, and it was one of the closest to the body of the tank, for the lack of a better word, they had to remove up to 12 of these wheels in order to replace one. So it was a royal pain in the ass for the maintenance crews. The drive track, it was excellent if it could run on dry surface. Snow and mud were not good for the intricate drive track and suspension system of the Tiger and the King Tiger. And because of the sheer weight, whenever they had a problem, a mechanical problem, and needed to abandon the tank, they could not recover it because they had no vehicle which was able to pull the King Tiger out of the mud, because it weighed 70 tons and all the recovery vehicle could not cope with the sheer weight of this vehicle. So every King Tiger which needed to be abandoned because of mechanical failure was a total loss. That didn't help either. So while they were very heavily armored and armed, the mobility was abysmal. And this was also why they were so susceptible to air raids, because they couldn't turn. They did not develop. I mean, it's ironic that the Germans, who perfected the art of blitzkrieg, right? Fast, motorized advance. At the end of the war, they had the most lumbering tanks, which just were not mobile enough. They couldn't. I mean, the sheer weight of the King Tigers and the Tigers before them, to a certain extent. The problem was, in the 40s, most bridges had a weight limit of 50 tons. So, and the good bridges were often already destroyed due to the war, right? To the war efforts from both sides, cutting off retreats or denying the people the ability to cross a river or a gorge, or whatever the case may be, or whatever, obstacles. And so you had no other choice, also due to the lack of fuel that the German Wehrmacht had at the end of the war. You needed to put the tanks on the railway, which was of course the prime target of the Allied artillery strikes, bombing raids, ground support aircrafts, you name it. So they were strafing locomotives, destroying railway tracks, destroying bridges, to deny the Germans the ability to move their armed forces, which is of course a very effective strategy. And the Germans had no choice, because the Tiger could wade in water, but it didn't swim, for obvious reasons, because it was probably as capable of swimming as a rock. And when it was more than 1.4 meters, I believe, they couldn't cope with it. It was too deep. It would starve the engine. And I don't think they were built watertight either. So whatever river there was, if it was deeper than 1.4 meters, they couldn't cross it, right? Because likely the bridges wouldn't carry them, or the bridges which would be able to carry them were destroyed, or at least under heavy fire as soon as a tank showed up. So that was then the problem of the Tiger. It was a very good tank from the point of view of armament and armor, but not from the mobility, and it was not a very reliable tank, because they did not have an engine fit to support the weight, and the track system was adequate but very susceptible to damage. So there you go, a little rambling of mine. I think we stop it here. I hope you enjoyed what you saw. I mean, I know it's not the most riveting game. I find it very interesting. Maybe next episode we can pick up the Tetrarch, because that was the first one we developed, and with all the new components we unlocked, we might be able to get a better version of the Tetrarch. But that would be too long now for this video, and we'll save it for the next one. Okay. Hope you enjoyed, and see you next time. Bye.